You are watching the Global Gamers Invitational Tournament brought to you by iFixit. SCVs for the real world. The Handsome Nerd attire for the handsomest of nerds. And Esports United, sponsored by Intel. This broadcast is also made possible by IC Cup TV, TeamLiquid.net, and of course, Blizzard Entertainment. Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Mac with another game from the Global Gamers Invitational round of 32. This is between Mardow and Inuh. This is game 3 of the best of 3 series. We are tied at 1. Once again, this tournament is sponsored by iFixit SCVs for the real world and by the Handsome Nerd and Esports United. So huge thanks to those sponsors. They donated a very, very large prize pool, making this a tournament of consequence. And bringing out great players like Mardow, who is trying to advance as best he can. He's on a big map, and if we see a repeat of Game 1 on a big map, Mardow might be in trouble. So we'll see how he responds. We'll have a short game, long game, who knows? So let's see what's going on. The predictable direction for the Overlord, unfortunately not going to spot his opponent, so probably going to see an extractor trick and a scout from this drone, just like last time. Same build. And Inuh, same build as well, putting down this supply depot for vision here, and then he's going to wall off with a barracks and a factory, and probably going to expand in parallel as well as Reaper harass the fast expansion. So I think we're going to see a repeat of Game 1 unless Mardow has something up his sleeve. So far got 14 supply, probably waiting for a 14 spawning pool once he has the minerals, and then a 15 hatchery. Although I have been wrong. Maybe he'll switch it up. 15 drones now, so I am wrong. But that's okay. Also getting that refinery up during the barracks. It's probably going to be a little bit late for an immediate tech lab for Reapers. But that might not be his plan. Scouting drone on the way. His final trip to scout this place. So unfortunate there for Mardow taking so long to scout his opponent. But he's not going to miss anything. He is going to catch the barracks and the refinery. It's everything he needed to see. And he is, looks like he's going to camp here, blocking the tech lab spot. Excellent play there by Mardow. And unfortunately, I think he's one step behind this SCV, so he's going to be forced to regenerate his health a little bit before interfering anymore. And a Marine is coming. That will deny this drone effectively. Away he goes. Will not be able to harass any longer, but no Reapers yet. There's the tech lab, so we will be getting some Reapers. Orbital command at a very sensible, common time for Terran. And a scouting SCV on the way. Maybe he will block some construction of his own at the hatchery there. And there is the first surprise from Mardow, a Roach Warren. This is probably going to get scouted. No Zerglings to stop him. No Queen to stop him, so this SCV going to make it all the way in, unfortunately. So Mardow not going to surprise his opponent at all. There's no hatchery coming. Instead, a Roach, early game Roach push. So away goes the SCV. He learned everything he needed to know. And Reapers are on the way for Inuh. We are pretty much tied on economics. So neither player has an early economic edge. But that's no surprise. Those Reapers are definitely going to enjoy this map. They love the high ground up here. They love the high ground up here near the expansions. They can really take advantage of the space. And Mardow, is he producing any roaches? Yes, he is. So he is not planning to change his strategy now that it has been scouted. And it looks like Inuh he is producing some Marauders, so he is planning to counter his opponent's build. Only got that one Reaper, but looks like he might not be pressing in. Just going to take that Watchtower and sit tight. Having this Reaper here will allow him to deny any drones or Zergling control of the tower, as he can just sit here and fire away until Hydralisks come out. And this Reaper, I guess, going to check real quick if there's a hatchery. Isn't close enough to know quite yet. Zergling speed on the way for Mardow, and a Roach Warren as well. Getting an early armory for Inuh. So I guess he has not altered his build whatsoever. Producing Hellions and Marauders. Marauders to deal with those Roaches. Hellions in anticipation of Zerglings. And we do have our first engagement here. The Reaper is forced to retreat. He is going to get away, going to be able to harass any Zerglings that get too close. And the Roach is going to try and get him. They do get close enough. This Reaper is not pulled back far enough. And the Roaches finish off the Reaper, and the expansion goes up for Mardow. A hidden SCV here for a later scout. This was a detected hatchery. Here comes the push. With Hellion and Marauder, it's going to be pretty tough for Mardow to bust down this wall. That's a lot of hit points for Roaches and Zerglings, so it looks like Mardow going to Plout and transition into a later tech. His lair is not being researched yet, so still staying in tier 1 even though his opponent has Vikings and Thors. So Vikings going to be able to harass those Overlords with impunity, and Thors, I mean, they are a great counter to Mutalisks, but they're also a great counter to pretty much anything small, as they can one-shot most tier 1 units. So definitely a tech advantage for the Terran player now. His army is even marginally larger, and that Viking is out to harass the Overlord, so things are actually looking pretty bad for Mardow. The only thing going for him right now is this expansion. This SCV tries to break in. What is he going to see here? He does not see anything new. Doesn't know if this Roach Warren got cancelled. Well, of course it didn't get cancelled. His Roach is out. Forget that. But he doesn't know what's hiding here. So finally, some good news for Mardow, because things have not really been going his way this match at all. This Viking looking for some more Overlords. Doesn't look like he's going to find any anytime soon, but these ones are exposed. They're all retreating, it looks like, to the nearest queen. So Mardow going to lose that early vision, and we are going to be getting a dropship and Thor combo, also known as the Thor ship. So some harassment here from the ledge. Very effective harassment tool for the Terran player, but he still has not expanded. So while Mardow definitely behind in tech, he does have that one thing going for him. Economic-wise, he is ahead by 5 drones. They're more or less tied because of those mules, but he does have the second expansion going, which is worth an awful lot. And the Viking has found this exposed Overlord, but the Queen's able to shoo away the Viking, and the Thor is now loose, going to be able to finish off this extractor and probably hit any drones that get too close. Are we seeing any siege tanks to follow this up? It looks like, yes, we are getting some siege tanks. Siege tech is done. And Spire coming down for Mardow. Interesting choice, given that Thors are already on the field, but Mutalisks are necessary for these Vikings, and a couple of drones getting sniped by that brat of a Thor. And the Viking also able to harass because of this cover from the Thor, but all things considered, not that much damage so far. 5 drones. Now we're getting somewhere. Even starting to focus down this Overlord. The Queen getting a little over-eager here. This Queen definitely not being controlled, but the computer making a bad decision, and this Overlord might be going down. More drones moving up the line. The Roaches are engaging, getting some damage. So a good push here with Queen support, but he's going to lose a couple more units. This Queen does survive, gets transfused, and this Thor gets a second Queen, so huge amounts of damage. Thor almost gets taken out. Where is that dropship? There it is, with new units. A siege tank, 2 SCVs to repair, and SCVs, so he is not going to pull back. Inuh is staying around. He's going to keep harassing, building a missile turret, so he is not going anywhere anytime soon. And in terms of response, Mardow getting some Mutalisks and an Evolution Chamber, but nothing really able to counter this Thor, Marine, and Viking composition here. Still no expansion from the Terran player, so one thing in Mardow's favor, but a second Thor might be on the way soon. Some nice defenses too, so Inuh not feeling threatened in the least. The Mutalisks are engaging, but they are forced to retreat. Looks like, I don't know if that was 1 or 2, but definitely did not get anything done with that Thor, Viking, and 2 missile turrets, a 3rd missile turret going down, so Mutalisks will not be able to touch this. There's just no way. And getting some Zerglings out of Mardow, so he looks like he's planning to harass his opponent, take the fight to his opponent's doorstep. No missile turrets here. Take that back. 1 missile turret here and a Thor, so those Mutalisks not going to be able to harass much more. A second turret almost up here, and 1 by his SCVs, so the Mutalisks really not working out for Mardow at all. Terrans just have too many very strong counters to Mutalisks right now. And it looks like the Zerglings are pulling back. The siege tank has not advanced. It looks like this little harassment expedition is content just to sit tight and deny half of this mineral line to the Zerg player. And Mutalisks massing with some Zerglings and a Nidus network, so Mardow's going to try another way in, thinking aggressively, which is what he really needs to do. Finds that Viking finally, so good night Viking, no more Overlord harassment for him. And siege tank has advanced, another turret going down, so the Thor is going to try and tighten things up. A siege tank firing on this hatchery, so the hatchery is going to get lost. Now that Inuh finally stepping up the pressure here, and the Nidus network is destroyed, unfortunately, by the siege tank, so no Nidus network for Mardow. Maybe he'll try again in this corner, or I don't know, but an expansion has gone up for Inuh, so Inuh finally denying that one advantage that Mardow had going for him. Army-wise, more or less the same. Income-wise, again, more or less the same, but this hatchery in extreme danger of going down. These realisks able to